Hey everyone, it's the Grumpy Meeple, and I'm back again with another in my series of how to quickly and easily paint your Zombicide second edition miniatures. And in this segment, we're going to focus on basing them. So when I say basing, what I'm referring to is this effect, the kind of gritty asphalt effect on the bottom of the miniature there. And then also, painting the ring. And I'm going to show you a really quick and easy way to do this. This is what I do with the vast majority of my miniatures. Again, this is an extremely lazy, extremely easy way of doing this. People do all sorts of stuff. And I have all sorts of more kind of complicated, like I've got like tufts of, grass and such, but I'm not going to do that with this set. All I'm going to do with this set is try and get some kind of rough approximation of like gravel or concrete or something like that these guys are running on. And it's really simple. Here's what you need basically, or here's what I use. First of all, get some Elmer's washable clear glue. Get some toothpicks. I just use these colored ones. Get some sand. This is literally from my kid's sandbox. All you do is you just, and hopefully you can see this okay. You just fart this stuff on here. Boop, boop. Get a couple of them done at once. You don't have to be careful with it. You don't have to be precise. We're going to move it all around here in a minute with the toothpick. So let's just do 3 for now. Get the toothpick, and you're just trying to coat the whole base, basically. So, you don't even really need to be that careful about the feet because it looks cool when they're kind of dug into it, It looks like they're pushing off and their foot is kind of in the material. The main thing you want to be careful of is actually just that you don't get too much of it on the ring of the base because you don't want your sand sticking to the outside of the base. But you just move this stuff around. And I do this partially because I like the effect, partially because it does make it easier to do stuff like paint the feet because you don't have to be as precise because you're kind of covering it with because sometimes I'll be painting the feet and I'll get a little bit of paint on the base, and instead of fixing it, I just base them like this and it just covers it up because you go after you paint the miniature, you go and you paint the base, and so you're just kind of, slapping some gray on there to cover it up. And then all you do is you just take these guys and you just pop them in here. Just kind of slap them around a little bit. And then just kind of get the extra off and get it off of the ring of the base so that you don't have sand kind of sticking to the sides of the base. And even that honestly is not entirely necessary. I mean, if you didn't want to, sometimes I'll flick them from the bottom like that. The important thing is to do this before you prime the miniatures for this particular example, because you want to prime them. You want to prime the sand. What that's going to do is it's going to kind of give it a little bit of a different consistency. If you can see here, it's going to kind of bring it together and make it a little kind of, almost kind of like, muddier looking. It's also going to secure it onto the base so that you don't have sand like flopping around. And that's it. That's how I'm basing these miniatures. So you can see you need virtually you need like $3 worth of the materials here. And you can see that you can do this really quickly for a lot of miniatures, because you just get some glue on there and you're just moving on. And I'm even filming this, and I can still, you know, do it really quickly. And the interesting thing about this whole process is that, you know, it's iterative. So even if all you did was do this basing and then prime the miniatures, they're still going to look better than unfinished plastic out of the box. And so you can kind of go as far down this road as you're comfortable with. If you watched my previous video, then you'll know that, to my mind, there's really nothing you can do that you can't undo anyways and still end up with a superior result. And that's by using the LA's Totally Awesome to, sorry guys, I'm trying to make sure I'm getting into the camera, but, and you can see I'm not being particularly careful about getting it on his feet. I kind of don't care. There's nothing you can't undo with some basic cleaning supplies and just a little bit of time to strip the miniature. So even if you don't like, if you feel like you don't like where it ended up, you can just kind of reset it to a better version anyways, because as part of that reset, typically I'll prime over the miniatures. And typically I wouldn't, to be honest, I wouldn't wear gloves while I'm doing this. And I think I might even actually take them off, because they're a little, I don't really want to get glue anywhere but the base, and you know, sometimes this stuff sticks to the gloves. But I'm trying to model kind of safe behavior with this stuff, because probably more safe than I would normally be, to be honest. And then you just take them, get them in the sand. And again, this isn't rocket science. I'm not some genius who came up with an incredible painting system or basing system. I just watched somebody else do this, or something similar to it. It's probably something more advanced. And I just said, how can I distill this down to its most basic, you know, its most basic form? Just, again, just kind of get the material off of the outer ring. Usually I would let these sit a little while longer, which would make this kind of part of the process a little bit easier, but because I'm trying to demonstrate, I'm kind of accelerating the process. It's really not even that important that you get like all the glue off, because it's clear and you're gonna just prime right over it. You just don't want big chunks of sand on the sides of your base, unless that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for more like a rough kind of hewn look, that's definitely a look, you know, you could go for that. And then your end result is something like that. Already cooler than this miniature was 30 seconds ago, and I basically did nothing, you know. So, and that was all in real time. I'm not planning on making any edits to this. I might, but you can see I could do the rest of these in a couple minutes, and then go back into the box. I could probably do the whole box basing like this in less than an hour for sure, maybe even less than half an hour. And so that's it for how we're going to start our painting project. The next thing I'm going to do is finish basing the rest of these off camera, and then I'm going to show you how I prime them, the method that I use for kind of sticking them to a little paint stick so that I can kind of get under them and stuff and prime them up real nice. And I'll show you the primer that I use for this particular project, and we'll go from there. All right, well, thanks for watching. I will talk to you later.